This movie is absolutely batshit fucking insane. Let's do it. Good Boy opens up with this dude who we learn his name is Christian, and he's putting out food for his dog who turns out to be very obviously a human in a fucking dog suit. Like, the thing literally barks like a dog, eats like a dog, plays like a fucking dog. And then we see Christian swiping on Tinder or whatever dating website it is. And he comes across this girl, Sigrid, who he super likes. The two of them end up meeting up for a date and they hit it off. And he asks Sigrid to come home with him, leaving out the part like, by the way, I have a human in a dog costume at home. So she goes, they drink wine, she learns that Christian inherited this big house from his parents who died, and she ends up spending the night. However, when she wakes up that morning, Frank is just sitting there fucking staring at her. Did I mention his name was Frank? His name's Frank. So Christian literally acts like this is no big fucking deal at all, doesn't even try to explain, he's just straight up like, that's my dog Frank. Sigrid, obviously freaked out, leaves and makes Christian drive her home. So Sigrid gets home and she's telling her roommate or her friend about this, and the friend is almost like, it's not really a big deal. And then Sigrid tells the friend Christian's full name, and the friend's like, Christian, like the multi-millionaire? Like, bitch, you need to make this work, pretty much, but play hard to get. This friend is terrible at advice, by the way, because she's not fazed by the dog thing at all, and in fact encourages it and encourages Sigrid to watch like videos of people who do this as a life thing, so she can kind of get a feeling for it. So Sigrid decides, you know what, fuck it, I'll give him another shot, and she ends up meeting up with Christian again, and she does not play hard to get. So they start spending more time together. Christian at this point had explained to Sigrid how Frank was a childhood friend, but he is a dog, and he doesn't treat him any differently. He wants to be a dog, he wants to be treated like a dog, and that's exactly what Christian does. So then Christian's like, I think we should go spend the weekend at my remote cabin in the woods. Me, you, and Frank. And Sigrid fucking agrees to it. So the three of these humans get to this cabin, and Christian tells Sigrid, you know what, I think this should be a phone-free weekend. Like, give me your cell phone so I can lock it up. She's kind of hesitant, but ultimately she agrees because she's a woman in love, and what could possibly go wrong? He only has a human in a fucking dog suit. So that night, the three of them are hanging out, Frank is doing his fucking dog thing, and Christian walks into the other room. And when he does that, Sigrid, who has fully embraced this whole thing, by the way, she's like petting him, playing with him. Now that the two of them are alone, Frank looks up out of his dog suit and he says, we need to get out of here. He is fucking crazy. And then like immediately goes back to being a dog because Christian comes back in the room. So obviously Sigrid freaks the fuck out. She gets a knife that she tries to hide under her pillow. Early the next morning, she goes to the door and realizes that it is locked from the inside and only Christian has the keys. So obviously if there weren't already red flags, they're fucking everywhere, baby. Eventually, Sigrid suggests that she take Frank for a walk because she obviously wants to get some alone time with him so she can ask him what the fuck is going on. So while they're in the woods, she gets the opportunity to ask Frank what the fuck is going on. And Frank proceeds to say he's absolutely fucking insane, we need to kill him. And Sigrid's like, no, I can't kill him, like why don't we just run right now? And Frank's like, you don't understand, he's going to catch us. But before they can say any more, Christian's calling for them. So they go back, Sigrid is trying to be super nonchalant, but she's doing a really terrible fucking job, so obviously something's up. Christian ends up drugging her that night. She wakes up that morning in bed with him to find that the knife that she put under her pillow is gone. She now has zero defense. And then Christian plays her a tape of the conversation that she had in the woods with Frank, meaning this motherfucker had a recording device on Frank's fucking dog costume. I honestly don't remember how this whole next part occurs in order, but all I know is that Frank and Sigrid end up attacking Christian. But they fail miserably, and Christian ends up beating the shit out of Frank. Meanwhile, Sigrid manages to get out the front door while Christian is distracted beating up Frank and makes a run for it. We then see this montage of Christian locking Frank in a dog cage and just like smashing on the cage, playing this super loud music. And then he literally like undoes Frank's dog suit and starts just like smacking him. So Frank's like screaming, crying, and Sigrid decides that she's gonna play the fucking hero. So instead of continuing to make a run for it, she comes in and she takes like a wooden plank and she smacks Christian with it. Frank is laying on the ground, obviously just being beaten. Sigrid's trying to pick him up and run, but he can't. And she only hit Christian once, so of course he gets up and fucking attacks her and knocks her out. And Frank again is just already knocked the fuck out, basically. The next shot we get is Christian waking up, preparing his dog food bowl like usual. He brings it to Frank, who is in the dog cage, hawks a fucking giant-ass loogie in it, and gives it to Frank. Christian then proceeds to go to the barn where we see a second dog chained up on a mattress. And sure enough, that's fucking Sigrid. He made her into another dog. I still have no idea where he's getting these dog suits from. But wait, there's more. Because earlier in the cabin, we had seen that Sigrid was vomiting. And sure enough, the reason she was vomiting was because she was pregnant. The final shot is Christian putting down a dog food bowl and a fucking baby in a suit crawling to it. And that's it, the movie ends.